Greetings, Space Cadets, and welcome to our final block for the year, the Reproduction Block. In this short presentation, we will have a quick run-through of the content of this block, and this time there are actually two tutorials: the normal mission briefing debrief with our inspirational video, the recap of the previous block, and our small group discussion tasks, and a debrief for the previous block. And then our very last event for the year will be a re-entry and splashdown tutorial. This will also include an inspirational video, a recap of the reproduction block, some live spin-off presentations and a fun space quiz, and then an opportunity for an overall subject debrief. This is a relatively short 2-week block and it runs in the first 2 weeks of October. There's only one spacewalk that you can work through at your own pace. We've already had the Meet an Expert session with Dr. Sarah Lynn Mark, the round table, which I hope you all enjoyed and found to be thought-provoking. And if you want to re-watch this video at any time, it's available via the link on the Canvas page, or you can find the links for all the videos in the announcements or on our YouTube playlists. And our final tutorial, Re-entry and Splashdown, will feature a recap of the reproduction block. So as usual, there are people allocated for that. Have a look at Canvas for the names. Some selected spin-off live presentations, a fun space quiz, and some time to reflect on our year-long mission as a whole. And there's a separate session tile on that. With regard to the spin-off presentations, we're looking for 3 students to volunteer to share your spin-off presentations live with the whole group during this session. This will be completely informal. You will not be assessed on this, and only the pre-recorded presentations and your peer feedback will be assessed in accordance with the rubric. So it's an opportunity for you to share your chosen spin-offs with the rest of the group, but there are no assessment implications. So I look forward to hearing from 3 volunteers. Thank you. As mentioned, there will be recaps for both the mission briefing debrief, and that'll be on the neuroscience block, and also for the reproduction block in the re-entry and splashdown session. The names of the relevant people are on Canvas, and as customary, those recaps will take place at the beginning of those tutorials. And by the time we start the reproduction block, most, if not all of you, should have submitted your final written report and be working towards submission of your final ePortfolio reflective piece, which is due no later than Sunday the 8th of October. There is a compulsory peer review component, and that is due by the 15th of October. And we still encourage you to complete the 2 short reflections for your ePortfolio. The first is a supplement to your final written report if you would like to include the reproduction material in that, should you wish to reuse it for other purposes, and a spin-off reflection to support your final assignment. And you can always refer to the spin-off tile on the Mission 8 homepage. The layout for this block follows the standard format with the separate tiles for all the relevant activities, and also the to-do list for what needs to be done when. The inspiration task for this block is to think about your favourite sci-fi music, and then the extension information is the same as in all prior blocks. The spacewalk for this block follows the standard format. The learning outcomes are tailored for the content of the block, including the impact of microgravity on female and male reproductive function, also the impact of space radiation, being able to identify some gender-based differences in response to spaceflight, understand the importance of the management of birth control, menstruation and gynecological issues, be aware of a range of practical challenges facing reproduction in space, and appreciate why ethical considerations are important in discussing reproduction in space. The learning resources for this block broadly cover the effects of microgravity and space radiation on reproductive function, gender-based differences, gynecological issues, birth control and menstruation, and physical and ethical challenges for reproduction in space. And the 2 concertinas that you have to work through include some expert video presentations and panel discussions, and also readings and journal articles. The discussion points on Padlets, as is customary, are divided into 2 sets, 3 points relating specifically to this block and then 3 general points. And I would really encourage you to engage with these and share your thoughts with your fellow students. For the review activities, we have a fun crossword for you to fill in on this occasion. The extra resources are divided up into 3 sections. The University of Melbourne book list, and that has some standard components but also tailored for this particular block. A list of additional articles and also some additional videos. These activities are optional, and so you can delve into them as much or as little as you would like. The spin-off tile and resources are there to help you prepare for your final assessment. We will have 4 curly questions to discuss in our small groups, thinking about how evolutionary principles might apply to humans who live and work in deep space or on other celestial bodies. What might happen if someone who's born in deep space or in the partial gravity on the Moon or Mars experience on entering the 1G environment of Earth? Why is it important to have access to appropriate types and standards of medical care when we're thinking about obstetrics, gynecology and pediatrics? And what social determinants of health might be difficult to provide for children in space? And there's a Padlet there for you to use if you would like to add your thoughts to that. And finally, we'll be doing the debrief for the neuroscience block in our first tutorial, and then there'll be an opportunity to debrief on the subject as a whole during the final re-entry and splashdown tutorial. So that's a wrap for this year. I hope you enjoyed the subject, and thank you very much for being part of our mission team, and wishing you all the very best of success with your future endeavours.